FEMA employees fired over egregious migrant payments. Guys, they are still, in fact, trying to undercut the federal government. But let's go ahead and jump into this immediately. This is a suggestion via a channel member. Let's do it, guys.
Fox News Alert. Moments ago, we received this together. We received a statement from the DHS regarding the $59 million sent from FEMA to New York City migrants last week. Quote,
$59 million.
4 employees being fired today for circumventing leadership and unilaterally making the egregious payment for hotels for migrants in New York City. We have not announced it yet, so we have it first. There's going to be firings, the names are going to be out, and let's bring in New York Congressman Mike Lawler.
Guys, I think personally, if you had the audacity, all right, knowing that the federal government is completely against the concept of what you're doing, if you have the audacity to do such a thing, $59 million is not chump change, guys. They should, all 4 of these individuals should probably be held financially responsible for this. All right, either way.
Congressman, your thought about that move?
Well, it's long overdue, frankly. These funds have been misappropriated going back to the Biden administration. And New York City, a sanctuary city, has been wasting billions of dollars of taxpayer money, billions with a B, to provide free housing, clothing, food, education, and health care to illegal immigrants, including criminal aliens that are here illegally. And so, you know, I applaud, frankly, DHS for taking action to stop these payments under President Trump's leadership, because we have incentivized cities like New York and states like New York, a sanctuary state, to allow this to continue, and it has to stop.
Look, it cost New York, and it's a little selfish of us, billions of dollars because the water was wide open for 4 years. And the mayor that spoke up got exiled in the Democratic Party. Ironically, he's about to be, I guess, in a way, pardoned or protected by this president, who sees a lot of the targeting of Mayor Eric Adams as the same thing that happened to him.
Guys, I've kind of been saying this here. Like, Eric Adams is definitely an interesting individual. Like, he definitely sides a lot with logic and less emotion, but he definitely, in fact, got elected as a Democrat, but he deeply within him is Republican. So the most interesting thing about this man here, he's in fact leading the a massive sanctuary city, the largest city in the world, but he is in fact trying to, tell as many people as humanly possible how exactly this is affecting the city, and it is affecting them negatively. He then says this, and then the Biden camp and the Democrat establishment, let's say, go chasing after this man to try to have him in ruin. So they utilized the DOJ against Eric Adams along with Donald Trump. So it makes all the sense in the world that Donald Trump is now going to stand up for Eric Adams in this context here, guys.
No question. Eric Adams spoke out against what the Biden administration was doing. He said that the migrant crisis was, quote unquote, destroying New York City. Kathy Hochul authorized billions of dollars of state taxpayer money to pay for all these expenditures. Meanwhile, she's fleecing hardworking New Yorkers $2,500 just for the privilege of driving to work. It really just speaks volumes to how inept, incompetent, and corrupt New York has become under feckless leadership. We have to stop this massive influx at the border, which is what President Trump is doing. But we have to stop incentivizing states and cities like New York by spending billions, and in this case from FEMA, $59 million to support their efforts to circumvent federal law. That's really what this boils down to. States like New York are circumventing federal law, allowing illegal immigrants to get benefits and access to taxpayer money.
All right, so let's talk about something else that's just bizarre that it's happening in New York. New York's top court set to consider non-citizen voting in New York City elections today. Get this, non-citizens, you don't belong here, you're not registered, blowing off court appearance, doesn't matter. That would add 800,000 non-citizen voters. Why is this even a discussion?
It shouldn't be one at all.
It shouldn't be. New York Republicans fought back against this effort several years ago. We were victorious in the lower court and the appellate division, and now it goes to the Court of Appeals. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit concerned because the New York Court of Appeals has been corrupted by Kathy Hochul and New York Democrats. This is why they tried to gerrymander our maps again last year. They added people who are way too progressive for the court to try and move the court in a different direction. I am concerned, certainly, that the Court of Appeals will make a political decision and not follow the Constitution. It is very clear. Non-citizens do not have the right to vote in our elections, period. There's a reason New York is a sanctuary state and city, though. And the reason is they want illegal immigrants counted as part of the census. That gives them more congressional seats and it gives them more electoral votes. That's what this all boils down to. They want them to be able to vote in our elections.
Like that's the behind the scenes play that definitely, in fact, needs to be considered. Because I think that's the truest statement that I've heard pretty much in a long time to define why sanctuary cities exist and why they act as magnets to illegal immigrants.
I fundamentally believe that it is wrong. It violates both the U.S. and New York State constitutions.
Sure does.
And needs to be prohibited. And if the court had any courage or any conviction at all, it will reject this outright today.
You would think, because they want to loosen up that. Next thing you know, non-citizens voting in general elections. They'll figure out a way to do that. You know what I think it is? Republicans getting very close in New York to winning a lot of traditional Democratic seats, maybe even the governor's mansion. And they got to start letting everybody know that we're going to have to maybe bend the rules a little to stay in power. Mike Lawler, thanks so much.
All right, so definitely that last statement is a pipe dream, guys. Yeah, I can't imagine Republicans running New York City. That's just it's just not a thing, guys. That is in fact a stronghold. Now, don't get me wrong here. There are definitely people that are starting to kind of look at the system and be like, bro, how is this benefiting me? I just look at the map and I see blue states, and for some reason, a lot of these blue states are they have major cities that are just flooded with crime. Mayors that are also running a lot of these absolute terrible cities, right? Dangerous cities. So, I mean, they tend to be massively left-leaning in these contexts here, guys. But I want to go ahead and actually point out something that's intriguing to me. Like for a while, it was kind of hard for me to kind of grasp it. I still think that it's moderately hard for me to actually put my head around it because I don't believe things that people say. They have to be able to be logicked out completely. Now, when it comes to the context of people that are coming into the country, they are not citizens and voting. I was always thinking, you know what, that doesn't make any sense. Why would people now vote for the left if a lot of these people are running from the super left leaning policies? Like they're running from these things in their countries. They're running far as humanly possible from them. And so why would they do this? But if you give them everything initially, I think it'll be an immediate bump for the left, but then the longer they stay here, they're going to be like, I don't want this nonsense, right? And then go back to kind of rallying against the left in many cases. A perfect example would be Cuba. In the 80s and 90s, people basically thought that if Cuban refugees were coming, they were just going to, vote super left. But if you don't realize that most Cubans are going to vote against it because their government that they're running from specifically is extreme left, guys, right? But for like the initial bump, I think if you allow these individuals to vote, they're going to vote for who's giving them things initially. And then later on in life, they're going to completely flip. It just always happens like that. That's the case here. Go ahead and poll them now on who they want in office, the ones who are giving them all the things. That's it. They don't care about the country, bro. They care about who's giving them things. They do not care about the country at all, guys. But all right, and I do think, again, let me kind of reiterate what we were talking about earlier here in terms of the FEMA employees. $59 million is a lot of money, and that's also a lot of money for the average normie to have to pay back to the government. But I do personally think, since you did that, and you know, in fact, that this was not something that needed to be done, all right now, you four should be responsible for paying that back to the government. You never will pay that back to the government. You never will. But it is what it is, guys. All right, permanent, docking of pay. That's not what I'm talking about. Garnishing of pay. What about that? But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. The fact that you just made it to the end of the video says a whole lot, actually. We have a couple other channels. MrLboyd Music, MrLboyd Movie Reacts, along with MrLboyd Discusses, where I just generally speak about the things that specifically matter to me. But in the meantime, I'll catch you guys later.